that's cheating. No. It's time to take a wild ride back to the past. Sit back and relax and enjoy this episode of Memory Lane. That 6-button joystick can only mean one thing. We're here live on Gaming Blues Empire Memory Lane. Taking a look at this ASCII fighter stick SG-6. Released in 1993 for the Sega Genesis, or if you're over in Europe and Japan, the Sega Mega Drive. The joystick was an alternative to the Capcom 6-button joystick. As you can see here, the Capcom one was kind of grayish white looking colored. The ASCII fighter stick was sleek black. It matched the Sega Genesis. It looked nice. Look at that. The actual joystick itself had 6 buttons, the A, B, C, X, Y, Z. Pretty similar to what you would get on your 6-button controller on the Genesis, except for the addition of a joystick. So what does that mean for you? You get to play Street Fighter 2 and all your fighting games with a joystick, and it's almost like being in the arcade. And check out all those little switches up on top right there. Look at that. Got a whole bunch of different turbo switches, and you got a slow motion switch up there too. You can just click that on, and the pause rapidly goes nuts. Now down at the bottom right there, you have a mystery switch. I have no idea what that's for. It has a bunch of circles on it. You have your start button and a mode button. So there's all kinds of crap going on here. Look at this. It's crazy. And just look at the nice aerodynamic design of the fighter stick SG-6. Look at that. It's so nice looking. Look at that. It's amazing. It's perfect. Look at it. Let's check out some games. Let's test some games out on this thing. So as you can see right here, I picked out 4 games for the Sega Genesis. We're going to test out the fighter stick SG-6 on all 4 games briefly. And you can see here we have Miss Pac-Man, we have Street Fighter 2, Golden Axe 2, Streets of Rage 2. It's like a bunch of 2s going on here. And so yeah, let's hop in and let's check out one of these games out. We'll start off with this one right here. So of course the very first game that we needed to try out is Street Fighter 2. I mean, this joystick's obviously designed for a game like Street Fighter 2. It would be perfect for that game. So let's hop into the game and let's test it out. And we're recording straight off the CRT TV, so the picture is probably not going to be the prettiest thing in the world, but I kind of want to give you an idea of seeing the joystick in action right next to the actual screen itself. I just want to give you that perspective right there. Yeah, once we get into the gameplay here, I actually played Street Fighter 2 quite well on this ASCII 6-button joystick for the Sega Genesis. It actually worked quite well. The joystick itself is very, very clicky. The buttons are not too clicky, which is nice. I think the joystick, not bad. I do prefer using a standard controller, but if you do enjoy fighter sticks, this so far is looking pretty good. Now let's check out the next game we have here, and the next game that we have is Streets of Rage Part 2, one of the best Sega Genesis games of all time. Let's check it out here, and we are playing Streets of Rage 2. Gotta pick the big guy right here. And as you can see here, you know, a beat 'em up game like this, it works perfect with the joystick. No complaints here. Definitely works quite well. Kick some ass. Look at that. The 6-button joystick executes all the moves perfectly fine in Streets of Rage. It works exactly the way I wanted to. Check that out. And then you have Golden Axe 2. I wish I had Golden Axe 3, but it's only in Japan. So, yeah, check this out. Got some Golden Axe 2. Gotta pick our little guy right here. And, yeah, I don't know what's going on in Golden Axe 2, but the movement seems, kind of strange. You know, hit the game, apparently this joystick doesn't work that well with Golden Axe 2. I find that to be a bit odd. I figured the joystick is universal. You should be able to play any game with this, but for whatever reason, the 6-button controller, Golden Axe 2, don't get along with each other too well. And I'm not exactly sure how to fix that issue, but you see the actual character on the screen is moving very, very erratically. He's acting crazy. Look at that. So, I guess not all games are compatible with the 6-button joystick, but so far, Streets of Rage and Street Fighter 2 work fine. So let's move on to the next game right here. We have Miss Pac-Man for the Sega Genesis. I figure I threw this one in there. It's a nice arcade classic to try out. It's not quite the same as the arcade version, but we'll check it out anyways. We'll see what this can do. And as you can see here, once I get into the actual game, I did notice that the controls were not quite as responsive as I would like it to be, because the up direction for some reason was giving me a bit of an issue. All the other directions were fine. I'm not sure what the deal is with that, but for whatever reason, it was giving me some issues here and there with the directions. I don't know why, but it was kind of strange. You figure a joystick game like this would actually be perfect, but hey, it turned out to be the opposite. It was a little challenging to play on this joystick controller. That kind of was a little bit disappointing, but you know, what are you going to do? So after playing Miss Pac-Man, it had me wondering, what would happen if you hooked this up to the Atari 2600? Well, this joystick is a perfect alternative to the actual Atari joystick. Now, as you can see here, I'm playing the River Raid on the 2600. It plays perfect, and I love the. It feels like I'm playing an arcade cabinet. It's pretty awesome. I would love to play all my 2600 games using this joystick. I would probably use this 6-button joystick more on the Atari 2600 than the Sega Genesis. It feels awesome on the 2600. So I would consider this the hidden gem controller for the 2600 rather than the Genesis. I very, very much enjoyed playing on both consoles, but as you can see here, I'm having tons of fun playing River Raid on the 2600 using the ASCII 6-button fighter stick. Designed for the Sega Genesis, but it works quite well on the Atari 2600. So thank you, ASCII. You designed the perfect Atari 2600 controller. And if I get frustrated, I have 5 more buttons around the single button that, the B button is actually the fire button on the 2600 on this controller. So you have 5 more buttons you can vent your frustration out on if you get pissed off. It's perfect. If you enjoyed this episode of Memory Lane, don't forget to give a thumbs up and comment down below.